Okay, Big Ten championship. The heavyweights come out at night. Ohio State 12-0 at Indiana, also 12-0. Line on this one: Ohio State laying 4.5. Game total 48.5. This guy is played. This is in Indianapolis, is it not? Yep, at Lucas Oil Stadium. Ugh. Um, Wrong team favored. Um, First off, just with the spot, you've got Ohio State coming off the big emotional win at their hated rival, and now coming into this game. I think they're kind of due for a letdown, and you do not want to have a letdown against Kurt Signetti. Indiana has freaking gone out of their way to embarrass teams this year. They go out of their way to wreck teams. Um, yeah, so some of the final, like 56-3 at Purdue, 31-7 against Wisconsin, 55-10 Maryland. Um, let's see if they've see what their non-con. I don't. Their non-con. They literally played nobody. Old Dominion, which they scraped by. Kennesaw State, which they moon pounded. Indiana State, which they moon pounded. And then they got into the Big 12. The Big 12 schedule. They destroyed Illinois. They beat Oregon in Oregon. Is probably their best win. Beat Iowa at Iowa. Um, Killed Michigan State, killed UCLA, killed Maryland, beat Penn State in Penn State, which was probably, I guess, 27-24 final there was one of the more tense games that they played. Now they get Ohio State off the big win at their hated rival. I I think that, I don't want to mess with Kurt Signetti in this one. Also Indiana can't, with their quarterback, they actually can throw a forward pass. I think it's going to be beneficial, whereas Michigan couldn't throw a forward pass. Lastly, Ohio State, I criticize Indiana for not really playing anybody. Ohio State went out of their way to literally play no one. I want to take that back. They got the good win week one against Texas, and Arch Manning's, I guess, first start as the full-time starter, in which he looked terrible, 14-7. I guess that win. I guess it looks better now than it did at times during the season, but still, it's not. You know, Getting number one Texas coming into their building. I was all over Ohio State for that one. I think Texas was actually favored. Big mistake. Outside of that, Grambling, Ohio, at Washington, okay. Minnesota, at Illinois, okay. At a bad Wisconsin team. Penn State coming to Columbus, at Purdue, UCLA, Rutgers, and then finally Michigan. They didn't. So I'm seeing maybe, like, the Michigan game was probably the biggest of the. I was in Texas and Michigan were probably the biggest of the year. In between that, I'm. This is actually a pretty soft schedule. So I think this Ohio State team is kind of they skated by for the entire season, and now they actually get to play somebody who can, you know, throw a forward pass and play defense. Indiana is going to roll this one. Lock up the Hoosiers plus 4.5, easy, and money line also. Yeah, plus 170 in the money line. Lock that up too. That's that. Indiana might be one of the best plays on the board this weekend.